2020, all things considered, was a pretty good year for Nintendo. I mean, they released a good amount of titles. There were not really any big ones or big new ones, but they still did release quite a decent handful. But with the new year beginning, I think it's important that we should look back on 2020 and see if it was great, terrible, or 2018. This year, Nintendo released a total of 9 games, as well as one new system. It kind of is, it kind of isn't. This year, major releases, not the much smaller ones. Dr. Kaoshima's Brain Training, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, Xenoblade Chronicles not a system that can actually handle it. Why did they put it on the 3DS? Animal Crossing New Horizons, Paper Mario the OK Game, 51 Clubhouse Games, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and Hyrule Warriors. And then the new system is the Mario Game & Watch. Overall, there's quite a good mixture of games. Once again, there isn't anything big. Other than Animal Crossing New Horizons, each title this year is much smaller and has a much smaller install base and fan base. However, now with it being on the Switch, they're all able to sell quite a lot more. But one thing that you'll notice is that there wasn't actually that many fully new games. A lot of these were either remakes or here's it on a system that is anything but the original system. I mean, you have Hyrule Warriors, 51 Clubhouse Games, Paper Mario, or Animal Crossing, and Dr. Kaoshima. But other than that, there was nothing really new this year. And even those games aren't exactly Nintendo's biggest. Yet despite that, they're able to make quite a lot of money this year. Even the re-releases like Mario 3D All-Stars, released later on in the year, still went to jump up and become one of the best sellers of 2020. Overall, this year was a pretty big mixed bag, and it really did depend on the type of person that you are to say exactly how much you enjoyed this year. If you like Animal Crossing, or the new style of Paper Mario games, or Xenoblade Chronicles, then you've got all those. But if you don't care about any of those series, well, do I have good news for you? You've got nothing this year. Because once again, there isn't really that many big titles, but they still sold well, so it's not exactly like Nintendo's gonna care. Overall, my opinion of the year is kind of like 2018, where you have one big title near the beginning or the end of the year, and then very little to sustain during the more middle sections. I ended up getting about half the games that were released this year, and so overall, fine year for me. But once again, it really does depend on the type of person that you are and what types of games that you like. Now on to 2021. 2021 has quite a lot of gaming anniversaries coming up. I'm just going to be detailing the ones that are actually relating to Nintendo, so aka if they have a game that is on a Nintendo system, or if it's a franchise that Nintendo themselves have made. So you're going to have Pokemon's 25th anniversary. They're most likely going to do something with that. Pokemon is quite a big franchise, so something's definitely going to come of that. Dragon's Quest. Dragon's Quest is something they very much do not care about. They might do something, they might release some of the older titles, I'm not sure. I really don't know. The Legend of Zelda is the 35th anniversary, just like Mario. Something's definitely going to come of that. With Breath of the Wild 2 being announced a while back, this might end up being the year where we get to see it actually either announced further or released. Skyrim The Elder Scrolls, a while back a new Elder Scrolls game was announced, so maybe we might get something of that. Probably not. Metroid 35th anniversary? Yeah, we're not gonna get anything. We might get more Metroid Prime 4 news, but Nintendo does not care about Metroid in the slightest, or at least that's the way it seems to have been. The Nintendo Wii will be reaching its 15-year anniversary. The Wii was a great system, and with a lot of rumors about Nintendo Switch Online being updated, hopefully we might get to see some more Wii games on the Switch. Sonic the Hedgehog, Nintendo doesn't really make those games, but we might get something. There's been hints and rumors about stuff coming up, but no clue. Street Fighter 2 30th anniversary, they might make a new one. I mean, they've made 50 different Street Fighter 2s at this point. I wouldn't put it past them to make another. Donkey Kong will have its 40th anniversary. The thing about the Donkey Kong series is that it's honestly better than the new Super Mario Bros. Series. I mean, at least with the Donkey Kong one, there's actually some creativity. It's not just the exact same game over and over and over again. There have been rumors of Retro Studios hiring a bunch of different people, and maybe they're working on a new one. I'm not too sure. Crash Bandicoot's 25th anniversary. Recently we did just get Crash 4, but in that game there was a hint of a new title, so, you know, we might see something about that, but it probably won't release. Kid Icarus, 35th anniversary. Kid Icarus has 3 games, and one of them was on the 3DS and controlled poorly, so we might get that on Switch. That one was also developed by Sakurai, so yay, well done, you brought back a dead franchise. Overwatch 5th anniversary, apparently there's a second one, so maybe it'll release this year. I don't know, I care very little about the game, but it's on Nintendo systems, so... Golden Sun, that's where that one kid who got turned into this trophy and everyone got angry about is from. I've heard it's good. I don't think there's been any new games in ages, so probably nothing. Resident Evil's 25th anniversary. We might get a remake of the first game. I mean, they seem to be remaking every single one from 2, so... And I don't really see them remaking 6. Or maybe they will. Who knows? Kingdom Hearts 15-year anniversary. We might end up getting something that brings a bunch of older titles to the newer systems, but probably not. The Nintendo GameCube's 20th anniversary. Yeah, Nintendo does not care about the GameCube. Other than series that are still going on today, like Metroid Prime, barely, and Luigi's Mansion, the GameCube they just kind of leave and all its titles are just left to die. Speaking of titles left to die, Super Smash Bros. Melee, 20 years. Yeah, once again, Nintendo does not care in the slightest. If the whole thing with the Big House tournament didn't show you that, then... Maybe they did that because they are going to be releasing GameCube Online, but who knows. The Nintendo 3DS will reach its 10th year anniversary. 3DS was a great system. Many of the games didn't actually use the second screen all too much, other than like maps or menus, so I could actually see that being put onto the Switch somehow. I mean, these guys made Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. They can probably put the 3DS onto a system that only has one screen. Next, we have Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, 15 years. There's been a lot of rumors about a Diamond and Pearl remake cropping up. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, those ones haven't received any yet, and they're the next ones too, so we might see something. New Super Mario Bros. 15th year anniversary. Say what you want about the later New Super Mario Bros. Titles. This one was great. This one kind of, in a lot of ways, it did feel like an evolution from Mario World. The same way Mario World was an evolution from Mario Bros. 3. Yes, the actual map was nowhere near as advanced or detailed, but the actual gameplay of the levels was really good. The Nintendo 64's 25th anniversary. I had no clue it was that old. They might... N64 Online seems very realistic, as it wouldn't really be that hard to do. They already have a bunch of titles they can immediately put on there. And I just want to play a good Mario Party online, which could be done. Persona, I do not care. Persona 5 Royale, I'm pretty sure, is coming out this year, so there's that. And Pokemon Go 5 years. They're still supporting that game up to this day, so more than likely there's going to be something. Also, the Mario & Luigi series is turning 17 years old. That isn't a multiple of 5, and Nintendo probably won't do anything with that, but maybe they will, because 17's a number. Who knows? Not even me. So overall, there are quite a lot of game anniversaries that are happening this year. And only 5 of them Nintendo will probably care about. I mean, Pokemon and Zelda, they're definitely doing something with that. Like, there might be a Triforce collection, or you might get Let's Go Johto or something, but most of the other franchises will get very little. If Metroid's 30th anniversary didn't prove that to you, I don't know what would. Hopefully the fact that there's so many console anniversaries happening will actually lead to Nintendo Switch Online getting expanded further. I mean, they did update the Switch to have the logo and include everything, so it seems like they are ramping up to add more things. Maybe they're going to have a tiered service where Tier 1 gets you NES, SNES, and the original Game Boy. 2 gets you N64, Virtual Boy, and GameCube. Then 3 gets you DS, Wii, and 3DS. Maybe that's possible, I don't know. I mean, the thing about DS is that that'd be really hard. You either have to have it be exclusively in handheld mode, or you'd have to be using gyro controls, which, for games like Mario Party, would not work very well. Once again, it's doable, but like, without a new Switch model or something along those lines, it's probably not happening, at least the DS. N64, and Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. Very easy. And as I said, 3DS, that's very doable. As for big games that we know are coming out this year, we have 3D World Plus. Yeah, that's it. There are some titles that have been announced that might come out this year. You have Breath of the Wild 2, once again linking into the anniversary. Metroid Prime 4. I know that the development has been shifted around so many times that the original product is probably very different from the new product that they have right now. But it's been quite a while since that shift, so maybe they'll get something out. Maybe they'll show us some gameplay, but who knows. And yeah, that's it. That is all we can definitively say could be coming out in 2020. Well, in 2021. 3D World Plus is definitely happening, but there's not really anything else. So what are we supposed to do? This has led to the theory that we're probably going to be getting a direct quite soon, which that's bound to be true. I mean, they haven't had a direct since 2019. So they kind of do need to have another. I know that part of the reason why they didn't exactly have one in all of last year was probably due to COVID, but with that hopefully ramping down, and with them having literally nothing actually coming out, they have to hold some kind of direct, be it a special Zelda one, a special Pokemon one, or a general one, which will mostly focus on those topics with maybe one or two extra things sprinkled in. But yeah, what we have coming up in 2021 seems to be nothing so far. Of course, we might end up getting more titles than originally anticipated due to COVID, pushing games further into this year. I mean, look at 3D World Plus. That was most likely planned for like September-ish 2020, and now it's here. So we might end up getting a good amount of titles that originally were supposed to be last year, but we still have no clue. A lot of titles planned for 2020 have now been pushed to 2021. At least as a bunch of rumors and leaks. Well, leaks. A lot of them have come from somewhat credible leakers who have been able to get information correct in the past, such as certain characters being put into Smash Bros. Or the dates of directs, mini directs, or Mario directs, or whatever. So, let's talk about some of them. A Paper Mario 64 remake was originally planned for the 3DS, but after Bowser's Inside Story remake ended up turning barely any profit, which is completely deserved as it sucked, they decided to either scrap the idea or put it on the Switch. This person says that they ended up putting it on the Switch and that it's going to be announced soon. So maybe? I don't know. It seems like something Nintendo might do, but at the same time, who really knows at this point? Nintendo can do anything. They released a Game & Watch Mario Bros. For God's sake. It might be possible, it might not be. Another rumor says that in this upcoming year, we're going to be getting a new 2D Zelda, which I really hope that that's true. I've always preferred 2D, top-down Zeldas to the 3D ones. I know the 3D ones are just 2D ones, but in 3D, who would have guessed that? But I know the 2D ones just kind of have this charm that 3D ones lack. Maybe it's because, at least in the 2D ones, you don't have to look around a room, find a thing, shoot it, well done, you win. Which is a puzzle in half the 3D ones where it's, oh, you got a bow, find the thing to shoot, where is it? Oh, you find it, well done, that's the room, that's it. And with Zelda's 35th anniversary coming up, there's a chance they'll make a new one, there's a chance we'll get something. Maybe we'll just get a re-release of Link Between Worlds, which I'd be fine with, but we haven't gotten a new 2D Zelda since Link Between Worlds, and even that one just reused a lot of the maps from Link to the Past, so it would be nice to get a proper new top-down Zelda. Speaking of a series that hasn't had a new 2D title in ages, new Metroid 2D game. Maybe, I don't know. Metroid is always ranked high on Nintendo's lists, but it's never really turned that much for profit. They're always games filled with quality, but basically nobody buys them. So it kind of does make sense that Nintendo rarely does support that series. Though it still sucks. And now onto one that I really hope ends up being true. A new Mario & Luigi game. The Mario & Luigi series has always ranked extremely high, as they're always really good, well-made games. I mean, except for the Bowser's Inside Story remake, but we don't want to talk about that. Over the years, their release schedule's been kind of all over the place, but most of the time, they end up being even numbers, and also very small gaps. the release of Superstar Saga. 2 years afterwards, we got Partners in Time. 4 years after that, Bars Inside Story. 4 years after that, Dream Team. 2 after that, Paper Jam. 2 years after that, Remake of Superstar Saga. 2 years after that, Hell. So it seems like overall, most of the time it only takes 2 years for a new game to be developed. And little known fun fact, 2021 is 2 years after 2019. So we might end up getting a new one. We did know about Alpha Dream getting bankrupt, but we don't know if they did fully go bankrupt, if Nintendo saved them or grabbed their assets before they sunk. We might end up getting a new Mario & Luigi game soon. This rumor says, and I really hope that they're not lying or that they got information wrong. I'd even be happy with a remake of Partners in Time. Like, I just want Mario & Luigi on anything except a handheld. I mean, you can play them on the Wii U, but the Wii U is the Wii U. So, at the end of 2020, both Microsoft and Sony released a brand new gaming system with the PS5 and whatever stupid thing they named the Xbox. And Nintendo did something way better than both of those and made a new Game & Watch. Because why not? And also you can only play the original Mario Bros. And Mario Bros. 2 and Ball. Okay, there's actually quite a lot you can do with that thing. But anyway, so with that new technical leap, with the next generation coming, what's Nintendo gonna do? The weird thing about the Switch is that it released right when Xbox and Sony or PlayStation were making their half step, where it's, hey look, it's the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One, stupid name. So, and that's when Nintendo released the Switch. They didn't exactly let the Wii U have a full lifespan, meaning that now generations are kind of getting mixed up and confused, so well done Wii U, another thing they've ended up messing up. But now that brings us on to the question of, is Nintendo planning to make a Switch Pro or something along those lines? There's been a couple rumors that have said that they're making something like that, a Switch Advanced or something. They haven't really specified how powerful this is going to be. Some sources have said that the Switch's screen will be 4K and it'll run at a constant 60 frames per second, which is doable, but would probably cost a lot of money to either manufacture or to sell, so that might not end up happening. But we don't know. All I'd really want in a Switch Pro is just, here's the Switch, it runs smoother, it looks a bit better, and it has Mario & Luigi on it. So overall, it looks like 2021 could be a very big year for Nintendo. They have quite a lot of stuff that they can do, and quite a lot of stuff that they won't end up doing. Most of it they probably won't end up doing, knowing Nintendo, but who knows? And that's why I have created this. This is Nintendo's possible 2021. Now, there's quite a lot on this, kind of. As you can see on the right, there are 11 games, 3 remakes, 8 things coming to Nintendo Switch Online, 2 exclusive things on NSO, that'll make sense later, 5 direct-like things, 3 directs, and 1 new system. Now, this is relatively possible. Like, you can see that there's some months where or a couple of months where there's a big gap where the titles are much smaller. Because I wanted to make sure that this is actually moderately realistic. I've looked back on some of the older years Nintendo's had, and this kind of works. I don't know, let's jump right into it. January, which is where we're in, during the middle of it, has a Nintendo Direct, where they announce and then release Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, and Virtual Boy all on Nintendo Switch Online, revealing that there's going to be a tier-based system. Right now, on the service, Tier 1, which is what we're all currently using if you have NSO, will have the addition of Game Boy. Then Tier 2 will be N64, GBA, and Virtual Boy. They'll also announce most of the upcoming titles for the year up until around June-ish. Then in February, you have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury will focus a lot more on... It'll be more open-ended and have a lot of puzzles focusing around the catsuit. Then in March, you'll have 2 Legend of Zelda titles releasing for the anniversary, as well as Mario items coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons, which was announced back in the Mario Direct, as well as Sakurai announcing a new fighter. This fighter will be from the Legend of Zelda series, probably. If we are going to get it then. Probably. In April, the new fighter will then release, and Mario will die. both in the sense of 3D All-Stars being taken off shop and all that, as well as in the trailer, because you can't have a trailer without Mario Luigi dying, as well as the release of Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 2. Yeah. Then, on to May, GameCube and Wii releases on the next tier, however there's only 2 which people pick up on, as well as Rhythm Heaven, a series that hasn't really gotten that many new titles as of late. June is the big one. Of course, they have E3, Sakurai will announce a new fighter in there, as well as Mario & Luigi. Why? Because I want a new Mario & Luigi now. This E3 will focus on the rest of the games past, so July, August, September, October, November, December, as well as announcing the Switch Pro with Breath of the Wild 2 to go along with it. Also 1-2-Switch, because it's not a system without 1-2-Switch. July, you get a new Donkey Kong Country and Mario Hoops 3-on-3. I felt like there needed to be another Mario sports title, and that's the best one, probably. August will have a Paper Mario 64 remake, as well as a new WarioWare, and of course the release of the fighter announced during June. In September, Legend of Zelda items are going to be added to Animal Crossing, which will be announced during the January Direct, as well as Sakurai once again announcing a new fighter. October will see the release of the Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2, and 1-2-Switch 2. Nobody will pick up 1-2-Switch 2. November shows the release of DS and 3DS games coming onto Nintendo Switch Online, but only for Switch Pro users, as the Switch Pro will have additional features that help along with the weirdness of trying to get the DS and 3DS on. We will then end things off in December with the final fighter coming to Smash Bros, as well as another Nintendo Direct, detailing things about up to March or April. Overall, if this does end up being how the year will actually look like, something along these lines, I'd be pretty happy with it. I mean, you've got a Mario & Luigi, which if we just had that, I'd be happy enough, as well as a Paper Mario remake, the ability to play the original Mario & Luigi, as well as the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, every single one on the Switch would be amazing. Though, I mean, I'd just be happy enough with the Game Boy Advance. Because then, hey, 2 Mario & Luigi's on the Switch. How could you ask for more? As previously stated, this is relatively in the realms of possibility. There are months where all they've done is they've added in new services to Nintendo Switch Online, or it's much smaller titles, such as Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 2. Like in January, you don't even have any new titles at all. Will the Switch in 2021's lineup look like this? Probably not. I mean, we might get about half the things. Like, we're getting some Zelda titles, obviously. We're most likely going to see some form of update to the Nintendo Switch Online, which will add in 1 or 2 more consoles. A Mario & Luigi game would be great, but chances are it's not happening. So, yeah, I'd say that has a moderate chance of coming to fruition. Also, Pokemon's on there, but I don't really want to bring it up because I really do not care in any way at all.